Okay, so I played around on the laying hamstring curl while I waited for the seated hamstring curl to open up. But, even though I warmed up on a completely different machine, I'm still ready now to throw, a ton of weight around because I'm just activating the same, freaking muscle. I was still warming up my hamstrings, right? This whole little curling motion on the laying curl. Of course I did a couple feeler reps still, but hamstrings are warm, calves are warm. Did a little bit of a warm up on the calf machine. So for as long as it feels good, I'm just going to sit here and throw the stack around for as many times as possible and fucking just try to push it to the point where I can barely move it once I'm doing partials. So I'm not necessarily going for max number of reps per se, because for the first couple reps when I'm extra strong, I'm gonna get an extra moment of squeezing at the bottom. Like, imagine this is my leg doing the hamstring curl. I'll curl, and once I get to this bottom portion, I'm gonna have an extra little moment of intentional, contracting of my fucking hamstrings. But once I get weaker, I'm not really being able to get that contraction. I'll just try to move the weight. So I think pushing it to that level of fatigueness isn't the worst way to do it. I definitely think that that's a solid cue for you to end your set. Because if you end it for no reason, like when people talk about, RPE 5 or doing like a 3 reps in reserve set, I don't know, man. I think just fucking push it as hard as you can, as long as you can. But whatever. Let's just get hyped up for these. Okay. I think I might just do that 7 more times. I'm feeling pretty freaking good right now. So let's bust these out, man. Three more. I don't remember where I saw it, but doing these bent over and just trying to choke hold the machine, I don't know, it just makes me feel way stronger, and I can just flex my hamstrings more. Worth trying. If you've only ever done them like this, maybe try some shit where you get a fucking rear naked choke on the machine. But hamstrings is starting off fucking 10 out of 10. This is perfect. So let's just maintain this degree of intensity for quads. And before I know it, I'll get to sit down in the car and say, oh yeah, that was a good one. Okay. All right, I am perfectly satisfied with hamstrings. I can say with certainty, and while also being like truthful to myself, that I know I pushed it pretty hard on all those sets. So now the hard part for me is quads. Quads is a bit more taxing, not just physically, but also kind of mentally, because a set of squats, the uncomfortability factor is much higher. Like for me, for whatever reason, I'm very comfortable taking a set of hamstring curls to absolute failure. Like it's not really even a challenge to get to the point where I can barely even move the weight. But leg presses and squats and pendulum squats, leg extensions, I'm pretty good at it. But those movements, I really kind of have to dig deep in a sense, really get hyped up and like be fucking serious to have a good set. So I'm gonna warm up on the leg extension and then we'll get the real part of this leg day started. This is a leg extension where I can actually like smack some plates on the side of the stack and make it heavier. Usually if I couldn't do that, then I'd want to start off with like some single leg sets just so that, you know, I could actually go as heavy as I want to. Because you got to think, if you can do the stack for, you know, more reps than you would like to for a working set with both legs at once, then you could get more weight at your disposal just by doing one leg at a time. But it ends up taking a little bit longer. It's kind of time intensive. So if I got the ability to slap 2 plates on the side of the leg extension, what do you think I'm going to do? So I think 2 sets here, and then I'll see how I feel. And then some pre-exhausted squats are gonna be thrown in. We'll have to see how the workout progresses. Okay, that might be a little too much weight. Let's throw a plate off and do one more. Okay. Quads are opening with a good start. Let's do some freaking squats, goddammit. Whew. Oh yeah, that was exactly what I fucking wanted out of that set. I'm feeling very lightheaded, but I wanted to push myself to actual fucking failure. Actually, gotta sit here just a moment. Oh my God. Okay. Let's do that at least one more time. Fuck. Oh shit. Ugh. Come on. Fuck. I started to fall forward a little bit on that second to last one. I'm glad I saved it though. Jesus, dude. I've been babying my quad workouts. Squats are where it's fucking at. We got at least 2 more with 4 plates. Shit. Okay. Let's do one more, then go finish on leg extensions and be done. Shit. Usually I wouldn't want to do a set less than 8 reps, but I'm still satisfied with that. Oh, Jesus. 4 sets of leg extensions, and then the pump check, and then adductors and calves. But I think the hardest part is over. Still gotta make sure I fucking kill it on the next few sets though. Yeah, this was good. I need to do it like this more often. All I've got to do now is some double leg extensions, same as normal. Whole stack, just fucking burnouts of shit. And then quads will be complete. Let's go check this freaking leg pump before we come back for what I would kind of describe more so accessory style work. Oh, fuck. There. Shit. Okay. Let's turn down the exposure a touch and then see what we're working with. There we go. All right, so last leg day, if you watch the whole thing, you know I kind of said to myself, I didn't fucking go hard enough on those squats. Like the sets of squats that I did last leg day, I know for a fact I called them earlier than I should have. I just wasn't being that intense. So this is kind of the bar that I should be meeting because I'm very satisfied with this leg day. Obviously it's not over. I've still got adductors and calves, but you know, that's not, the stakes aren't so high with those sets. So with those sets of squats, dude, I'm glad I could push myself like that. And that should be my bar. Like the most that you can do is the most that you should do, if you kind of understand what I'm saying there. And that doesn't have to necessarily be like, I'll do the poses in a second after I say this little point. That doesn't necessarily have to be like quantitative number wise. Like I could still be totally satisfied with this leg day if on those sets of squats, like for a set of 10 or 8 or 12 or whatever I did, if I hit failure at 3 plates versus the 4, I'd still be perfectly satisfied with that because I'm not a freaking power lifter. You know, like the weight is cool, but in a bodybuilding context, in a hypertrophy context, it's all about just your intensity. You get what I'm saying? I could see a set of, like let's say there's 2 bodybuilder style dudes, one huge, one more intermediate, beginner level, right? If I watch that smaller dude do a set of 225, and I can tell for a fact that he pushed it to the max and he hit fucking failure, I am way more impressed by that set, and I'm way more hyped up by that set than a set of, even if a dude did like 6 plates for 2. Like, I mean, obviously it's a feat of strength, but you know, being conducive to actually making gains, that's all it is. It's just for show. You know, that's why you're never going to catch me do a fucking 1 rep max. For my purposes of fucking growing muscle, it just serves no purpose. So to go hard, no matter how strong, well-rested, hydrated, well-fed you are, you know, for you to just push to the limit regardless of your external circumstances, right? That is what the enlightened lifter is capable of every lift. So, he's on the phone with somebody. No, so even if I'm sick, well, if I'm sick or if I feel like shit, you know, I'm still prone to have a little bit of a lower intensity lift. You know, nobody's fucking perfect. Today I felt really good, so I was perfectly primed to have a really good lift. I kind of set everything up well. Got a ton of sleep, super well hydrated, solid amount of food in my system beforehand, even though I am in a deficit. So, you know, all the boxes were checked. All I had to do was come in and hit it. You know, proper preparation prevents poor pumps. You understand what I'm saying? So in that instance, if you're a little bit of a gym nut and you make it a point to sort of orient your daily schedule around your lift, right? You're going to increase your odds of having a fucking badass lift. You know, if I didn't get jack for sleep, I didn't drink any fucking water or electrolytes like the Silo 9 amino electrolyte mix I was talking about before, or I didn't have a ton of like, you know, food which I know would make me feel good for training later. You know, I'm just asking to have a shit lift and I'm asking to make shit progress. So that's enough of my little rant there. You know, none of this is new information. I feel like half the time I say shit, I'm just making like observations. I'm not even really saying my opinions. I'm just kind of like stating facts about stuff. But whatever, let's run through some poses while I'm still pumped. I almost freaking forgot about the pump check. I jumped straight into the fucking lecture. All right. Dude, holy shit. This is a fucking sick pump. The shadows don't really do me justice here, but I can see my hamstring poking out the back. Oh, I'm actually starting to see a little bit of a line in the back right there too. That's separation of quad to hamstring. Dude, fucking badass. Let's see, how's this one looking? Yeah, same thing. Dude, this line is pretty fucking cool too, right here. Let's just try to do one more where I really pop some veins out and then finish any last points I want to discuss. Oh my God. Dude. Left quad just turned into a freaking road map. Very nice. So I'm going to collect myself and go slam some adductors. All right, legs have been completed and I'm freaking satisfied. So I was gonna record some of the calf and adductor sets that I was doing. All I did was I sat down and just spammed 8 sets of adductors, you know, where you sit down, you squeeze your legs together, and then 8 sets of calf raises on the, not the normal calf raise machine, the one with like plates on the end of it. This one is kind of just like a stack loaded thing with a little pad that moves back and forth. I liked it, but one of the guys who came in, one of the workers, he like really turned up the music. So, you know, I didn't want to deal with any kind of copyright, whatever. So just imagine what 8 sets of those calf raises and adductor sets look like. And if you don't want to imagine, just go back to the last video where I showed one of the sets of some calf raises. But, you know, you get the gist. 8, I wasn't going to absolute failure, but, you know, 8 sets, solid amount of weight, enough where I was getting a really good burn at like 15 reps. And then same thing with the adductor machine too. I could tell my first 2 sets, my adductor was kind of tight. Like I could sort of feel a little bit of a twinge. But as I kind of warmed up to it, you know, just bouncing around the whole stack, I definitely got to toughen up those stabilizers for sure. I didn't tweak it on those squats, but I could definitely feel that they were kind of starting to come into play a little bit. Well, a little bit more than I would like. So not that it's bad that they're coming into play, but I need them to be a little bit tougher, right, to be able to handle that. But no, that was a freaking badass leg day. Every set of those hamstring curls, pretty much as hard as I could go on. You know, like I was saying, I mean, it's not very difficult for me to hit failure on the hamstring curls, because I can just, you know, reach a point where I just can't do any more reps, or at least can't really fucking move the arm anymore. Squats, those were good. I probably could have got like another rep or 2, like if I was extra hyped up, I probably could have got maybe 1 or 2 more. But that was definitely up in the range of intensity where I'm, you know, I'm satisfied with it. You know, if you know you could have got 5 more, then, you know, you got to do some fucking reflecting. But in the case of, you know, like hitting failure, you're technically capable of doing more. Like if my quads were hooked up with like fucking electrodes and they were controlled by a fucking little electronic thing that would like zap me and contract them, I'm sure they were capable of maybe another rep or 2. But, you know, as much effort as I could bring to the table on them, at least the ones where I actually hit failure, that was about as much as I could do. So that's how I should be doing it. I think I definitely get some strength gains out of the way that I have been squatting. I haven't done it for a little while, so if you haven't watched any of the spring bulk videos, then you wouldn't really see it too often. But my approach to quads was basically 1 crazy set of squats after a good warm-up. Like I would do a plate, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, like, you know, 2 or 3 reps each. And then I would do 1 set of like, you know, I was getting up in the 500s for like 10, 12, around there. And then re-rack it, and that was it for squats, which, definitely, contributed to some growth, I'm certain, plus some strength. But I think doing, that force, like, for me to do a leg day of like that set of squats and then the rest of leg extensions, compared to what I just did, 2 leg extensions, kind of priming my quads, then 4 sets of 4 plates, even though it's a little bit lighter, I think doing that much volume with the pressing is going to do me good. I think if I'm going to implement this style of quad training for this bulk, and I'm pretty excited to see if I get a little bit of extra gains in the quads than I have before, because I think I've been slacking on pressing stimulation for quads. It's not very hard for me to just do a leg day where it's almost all leg extensions, because I get a really crazy pump, I feel fatigued, I move a lot of weight around, and my quads are still sore. So I don't think I've been doing it wrong, but I think I've been lacking on the pressing for quads. So I'm excited to see if that'll thicken up my legs as this bulk will begin to progress. Obviously it hasn't started yet. So definitely it was definitely freaking hard doing those sets of squats back to back. I was almost like, I kind of felt like a little bit of a chump, but I was kind of getting ready to fucking lay down on the floor to catch my breath, just because sitting down on the little exercise block, or the wooden block I was sitting on between sets, I could kind of tell my lower back was just like burning. I was kind of starting to get a little bit of a lower back pump, but I didn't want to lay down on the fucking floor. I didn't push myself lay down on the floor to recover level. I didn't push myself that hard, but in between sets, dude, I'm taking a seat to catch my breath, especially on a leg day. I kind of felt like a fucking power lifter when I was doing those sets of hamstring curls. I dragged a chair over from like kind of the living room section of the gym, like the lobby basically, right next to the hamstring curl, just so I could take a seat and relax between sets. Oh, fuck, I felt a sneeze coming on. So, plan now, I've got 1,000 calories left. Dude, it is so fucking late. The leg day itself kind of took a while. I think I was in there, including the adductors and calves, I was in there like 2 hours after kind of a warm-up too, of like, so plus like an hour of talking at the end. Yeah, I've been in there for quite some time. So I think I'll just do one big meal, then go to bed feeling full. That'll be nice. These full day of eating videos are a lot easier when I'm dieting down, just because there's not so much food to record. It's just not so much freaking volume. But don't worry, I'll definitely show off whatever is getting thrown down my gullet once I start getting up into the 5,000-6,000 calorie range. Don't you freaking worry. So, cardio in the morning, as always, ideally, as freaking always, and then chest and side delts plus calves. Going for some, well, I'll see how they feel. I'll see how they freaking feel. With calves, I want to train them as frequently as possible with, and basically my judge of whether or not I'm going to throw calves in at the end of a workout or save them for the day after is if they're still sore. Because for the most part, your calves are a pretty resilient muscle, right? This is kind of bro science logic, but it's still legit. You're walking around on your freaking calves all day, right? They're used to, being worked. So I think, I could do that whole little calf workout I just did, or I just did calves yesterday, like heavy on that calf raise machine, 5 and 6 plate sets for like 10. And I still didn't feel sore today. I think that they're going to benefit pretty strongly from frequent to potentially daily stimulation. So, end of your workout, you're not in a rush, go pop a squat on the calf machine, do a couple of sets, man. You'll get something out of it for sure. Definitely more so if you just skip calves entirely. Come on. And having big calves, or at least having calves that are proportionate, just makes your legs look cool. Just makes your freaking leg look cool. So that's pretty much all I got to say for the car talk. I mean, good lift. Now all we got to do is get home and see what this final meal is going to be. I only had freaking 3 today. Reasonably spread out, so that doesn't bother me. I'm not in an insane deficit. Like, I'm not show ready level. I'm not worried about having like a perfectly spread out like influx of proteins, because I'm not worried about like going catabolic. So if I'm cutting down, I don't mind doing like kind of just a 3-meal day. Yeah, holy shit. Just a fucking, basically a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, whatever. But when I start bulking up, if I'm doing, 5,500 calories for the whole day, I want to spread it out a little bit more. I don't want to do like a 2,000 calorie breakfast and a 2,000 calorie lunch and a 2,000 calorie dinner. Like, 2,000 calories on a plate is not nothing. That's a considerable chunk of food. For just the average Joe, I mean, looking at the FDA's like caloric recommendation, 2,000 calories is the amount of food a fucking normal dude eats in a day to maintain his weight. At least, of a normal like weight, like, I don't know, maybe $1.50 or something. So to eat all that in just 3 meals, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you want to do that? So it's gonna be easier for me to get in all my food if I spread it out. So maybe I'll try to eat a big breakfast, maybe 1,500 calories, something, and then 800 calorie meals throughout the day. Cool. Not that I really do like specifically planned meals. Like, I don't really meal prep per se, just because I have access to my kitchen pretty consistently throughout the day. Even when I have a lot of classes, like tomorrow I've got class from 8:30 to 4, but I've got like hour-and-a-half breaks in between, so I can just ride the bike back to the house, make some food, then go off to do whatever I got to do. Now, one of my classes, I do have a little bit of a not that long of a break. I've only got like 45 minutes, so I don't really want to come back to the house. I won't really have time to really make a meal and then go back to my next class. So if you're gone for a substantial amount of time, I'd say more important if you're bulking, just trying to get a steady intake of food. If you're away from your kitchen for more than, yeah, I'd kind of, I'm not one to say like you need to eat every 2 hours to grow, but I wouldn't want to go more than 5 hours without eating on a bulk. Actually, I probably wouldn't want to go more than 3 hours without eating on a bulk, just because that's going to make me have to eat a lot of food later in the day. So if you've got like, yeah, I'd say if you're gone for longer than 3 hours, you're going to have to prep some shit. It's not that hard. I mean, get some Tupperware containers, buy some Ben's, I forget the brand, whatever, just like some instant rice packs, cook some beef, chicken, pork, whatever your, meat of choice is. You can have freaking 50 grams of steak, 120 grams of rice, well, 120 grams of carbs worth of rice in a little Tupperware thing, and it'll only take you like 10 minutes to prep that. So no matter how you go about it, as long as you stay in a calorie surplus, you're going to end up gaining weight. Inversely to that, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. In a lifting context, losing weight means losing body fat. Gaining weight means gaining muscle along with a touch of fat. You kind of can't avoid it. So if you think you're bulking, or if you think you're cutting, but your weight isn't changing and visually you're not seeing any differences over the course of weeks, then, you're doing something wrong, man. You got to readjust. You got to actually start tracking your shit on a food scale. Bust out like a macro tracking app. I use the stupid simple macro tracker. I'm not saying that's the best one. That's just the one I end up using because, I mean, it's stupid simple. So let's just get back to the crib, shower off, put some pajamas on, see what this last meal is, and then go to bed. All right, so now is this is not the post-workout meal even though it is the post-workout meal. So I don't know what I was thinking. I just did not record myself when I ate last night. But I just recreated the same thing. Oh, close enough a little. So 75 grams of protein worth of egg whites, 2 slices of American cheese, right? 9 grams of fat total, 4 protein, 2 carbs. Another 8 or 9 grams of carbs worth of sugar-free barbecue sauce. And then some chopped salad just to kind of give it some body or whatever. And then for carbs, I had 2 packs of Ben's original microwavable rice. So I kind of ended up saving all my carbs for before bed. So right now I feel pretty freaking full. I got to sleep in again today. So I don't usually do well, if I'm responsible and I wake up early, I usually do my cardio fasted and then I come back and eat. But I was kind of freaking hungry, so I'll eat this little egg salad, barbecue sauce, cheese concoction first, and then go get my cardio going. So the final calories for last night, I went a little overboard. 2,718. I was kind of aiming for 25, but when I had those 2 packs of rice, it kind of sent me over. I say I've been aiming for 2,500, but really I've been floating around like, 28, 3,000 sometimes. I'm not in a massively steep deficit just because I don't have the goal isn't necessarily to get shredded. Like I was saying beforehand, I am dieting to, lose body fat, but it's not for a show. The whole point is I'm just sort of resensitizing my system so that, in a couple of days, once I start this next bulk, I'll be, hungry for as much food as I'm going to want to eat. And, just the process of bulking and cutting, in the bulk, you're going to be a bit softer. So at the end of it, if I'm done bulking, I've kind of plateaued my weight, I've maxed out whatever, I'm kind of a little bit extra soft. So what's the point of just repeating a bulk if you're just maintaining the same kind of weight, whatever? I guess if you really make sure you hit your surplus forever, and if you're bulking and your weight is still going up, then yeah, keep doing it. But for me, I bulked for like 4 or 5 months. I ended up kind of plateauing at like a new record high weight. And then I got to cut down for 2 months and just repeat the process. So that's pretty much the logic there for anyone curious about that. I feel like I've talked about it before, but I mean, there's so many videos. It probably gets lost in the woodworks. So for me now, today, so last night this was dinner, and today this is breakfast. So I'm gonna go do my 30 minutes of cardio, come back, probably eat some more. Actually, I'll probably eat this pack of rice, and then got a couple of classes and chest and shoulders, which you'll see tomorrow. So that'll be a good lift. I'm 98% certain it's gonna be sick. So I'll freaking see you next time.